What is going on? It's time for some more picks. Another card preview. We've got Gilbert Burns taking on Michael Morales in Saturday's main event. Some notable names on the card. We got Marian Santos, up-and-comer, getting a pretty big step up, in my opinion, against Sadiq Youssef. You've got Mr. Paul Craig back, everybody's favorite Scottish MMA fighter. You got some veterans taking on some up and comers. Should be a fun night of fights, if you ask me. But without further ado, why don't we get straight into the picks? As I have to get on a plane to Washington D.C. Here very very soon. So let's waste no time here. Luana Pinheiro taking on Tisha Pennington. Luana Pinheiro is 11-4. She is 2-3 in her last 5 on a 3-fight losing streak, plus 310 as the underdog. She's 31, 5'4", 62-inch reach. Tisha Pennington, 3-2 in her last 5, 14-7 overall, minus 400 as a heavy favorite. 35 years old, 5'1", 61-inch reach. So Luana Pinheiro on a 3-fight losing streak, as I mentioned. Those are to Jillian Robertson, Angela Hill, and Amanda Hebos. Before then, she did get a split decision win over Michelle Watterson and did beat Sam Hughes. So not losing to like the worst names in the division. Amanda Hebos was on a tear when she did fight her. Angela Hill, losing to Angela Hill is not, the worst thing, but she did get guillotined by Angela Hill, who doesn't submit literally anyone ever. And then Jillian Robertson obviously is becoming a big problem in the division. So, not the 3 worst losses to have. But yeah, on the other side, Tisha Pennington just got a dub over Carla Esparza. Lost to Tabitha Ricci and Mackenzie Dern by split. Beat Angela Hill, and then she actually finished Sam Hughes, but that was like 4 years ago. So I think that this fight will go a little more like the Michelle Watterson-Gomez fight, and then it'll be a close fight. Tisha Pennington is known to kind of lose those close ones, right? But I like, even at 35 years old, I still like Tisha's boxing ability. I think she moves very nice. She's not washed at 35. Luana Pinheiro, I mean, not a very notable fighter, right? And if you get subbed by Angela Hill, I mean, come on. I think this will be a close one. I'm going to pick Tisha Pennington to get the decision win in this one. We got some people in the live chat. We got Denial hopping in first. Good to see Denial. Live from Guantanamo Bay. It's Idaho. So what? Guantanamo Bay? I mean, come on. Tisha, wow. How do you know? Have you seen it? Did you know the UFC heavyweight division has more ranked fighters than unranked? Yeah, I think there's only like 30 heavyweights, right? Yeah, I 100% believe that. Heavyweight is looking like crap these days. How you doing today, No Chill? Next pick will be Hung Sung Park versus Carlos Hernandez at flyweight. Hung Sung Park is 9-0. He is minus 190 as the slight favorite. He's 29, 5'7", 66-inch reach. Carlos Hernandez, 10-4. He is 2-3 in his last 5, plus 155 as the underdog. 31 years old, 5'8", 67-inch reach. Hung Sung Park last knocked out Shannon Ross a year and a half ago. Interesting, we haven't seen this young guy since then. He beat this man, Choi, presumably to win the road to the UFC or something like that. So we really haven't seen much of Hung Sung Park. Carlos Hernandez fighting quite a bit of guys in the top of the, in the flyweight division. Last beat Tumen Demburel 5 months ago. Lost to Ray Saruya. Tatsuro Taira, he got TKO'd by. Beat Dennis Bondar and then lost to Alan Nascimento. Those are his last 5 fights. So, I mean, Carlos Hernandez has fought some of the notable names at flyweight, right? Hung Sung Park, I mean, he last knocked out Shannon Ross, which, by the way, I think all of us at one point in our life, it's like a rite of passage knocking out Shannon Ross. I think I did that the other day walking down the street. I just kind of turned really fast, and Shannon Ross was standing next to me, and I accidentally, hit him and knocked him out. So, yeah. It's not a hard thing to do, right? But I think, look, I have this tendency to fade guys from South Korea. It's just what I do. But I don't know if Carlos Hernandez is the guy to beat old Hung Sung Park. I think he is looking good as a prospect. There's a clear way to beat Carlos Hernandez. It is with the wrestling game, and I think I'm gonna say Hung Sung Park gets it done. I'm gonna pick him to win by decision, going the safe route. We got No Chill says 29 heavyweights LMAO with Lane and Bresky cut. What are they doing? And they cut Jairzinho. How dare they? Good to see Zenu, he says. Nice haircut. Hey, thank you, man. I appreciate that. Like I said, getting on a plane here in just a little bit to Washington, D.C., so had to get that, fresh cut going. Got my ears lowered. Yes, I did. They also did that for a small fee. They lowered my ears. But yeah, guys, as always, let me know your guys' picks on these fights as I go through them. So very interested to hear your guys' picks. The next fight will be Denise Gomez versus Elise Reed at strawweight. Denise Gomez 10-3. She is 4-1 in her last 5, minus 500 as the favorite. 25 years old, 5'2", 63-inch reach. Elise Reed 8-4, 3-2 in her last 5, plus 380 as the underdog. She is 32 years old, 5'3", 63-inch reach. So Elise Reed, I mean, 8-4, 32, but I feel like she's been in the UFC quite a while now, right? Lost to Loma, beat Jinyu Fry, lost to Lupita Godinez, and then beat Jessica Penne only 4 months ago. But, Jessica Penne, older fighter, seems like Elise Reed like she was at one time like a prospect. And she always loses to like the better prospects, right? She's able to pull out wins over like Jinyu Fry, who is like the smallest fighter, was the smallest fighter on the roster, should have been at atom weight. And then Jessica Penne, long in the tooth. And even in those wins, she just kind of took them to a decision. Nothing really notable coming out of Elise Reed's fights. Denise Gomez has a win over Bruna Brazil. She knocked her out. Yasmin Jauregui, and that was a quick knockout too. When Jauregui was supposed to be like this big, top prospect, she did lose by decision to Angela Hill. I'm sure she was a big favorite in that fight. Since then, she's won a split over Eduardo Mora and beat Karolina Kowalkiewicz by decision. So I think at least Denise Gomez was like a lot more reckless, in her UFC career. And then Angela Hill kind of schooled her, and I think she kind of toned her game down a little bit, slowed it down, started working on some things. So I am very confident that Denise Gomez gets this one done. If she can't finish Karolina Kowalkiewicz, I don't think she'll be able to finish Elise Reed. But yes, I will be picking Denise Gomez to the surprise of literally no one, as she is a minus 500 favorite. Next matchup we'll be talking about is Luana Santos versus Tainara Lisboa, who I've never heard of in my life. This is at bantamweight. Luana Santos is 8-2, 4-1 in her last 5, minus 130 as the favorite. 25 years old, 5'6", 67-inch reach. Tainara Lisboa 7-2. On a 5-fight winning streak in her last 5, plus 110, near even. This is basically a pick'em. 34 years old, 5'7", 6'7", or 67-inch reach for Miss Lisboa. So let's see what Lisboa has been up to. 4 years ago, she beat a fighter making her debut. Beat a fighter that was 0-1, knocked her out. Submitted a woman that was 1-4, and she subbed Jessica Rose Clark. How dare she? And then she got a win over Ravena Oliver. Why am I getting so many texts right now? So yeah, not a very credible UFC. I mean, obviously subbing Jessie Jess 2 years ago, that meant something at the time, right? And I had a huge crush on Jessie Jess, and then who was it? Somebody broke her arm, and I haven't seen her since. But yeah, it hasn't fought in a year and a half. On the other side, you got Luana Santos, who was on a tear in LFA. They gave her the step up to the UFC. She knocks out Juliana Miller, gets a decision win over Stephanie Egger, beats Maria Agapova, and then lost to Casey O'Neill. I think this is pretty clear cut. Luana Santos gets the W in this one. Fairly easy to pick. I'm going to pick her by decision, though. I do feel like a possible submission is in order. I'm not really sure, though. I'm gonna go ahead and pick Luana Santos. Easy pick in this one. The next fight will be Connor Matthews versus Yadier Del Valle at featherweight. Connor Matthews 7-3. He is 2-3 in his last 5 on a 2-fight losing streak, plus 320 as the underdog. He's 32 years old, 5'8", 71-inch reach. On the other side, Del Valle. Let me see. Yeah, this guy's making his UFC debut. He did get into the UFC off of a decision win on the Contender Series. He is 8-0. Minus 420 as the favorite. God damn. 28 years old, 5'9", 69-inch reach. He trains out of Gracie Barra, Houston. Connor Matthews with the New England Cartel. Let's check out. So Connor Matthews lost to Francis Marshall on the Contender Series. He then rifled off a win on the regional. Got another crack at the Contender Series. Won a decision. Since then, he lost by knockout to Dennis Bazooka and Jose Delgado. And he just got knocked out 2 months ago. How is he fighting on this damn card? Looking at Del Valle's record, fought in Combate Global, got a knockout. Beat Michael Aswell by unanimous decision in Fury. Adam Smith, submission. Fought a 4-1 guy, got the decision, and then he beat Monteiro by decision. Look, if Connor Matthews just got knocked out 2 months ago, there's no way. I mean, I'm pretty confident that this newcomer, not knowing literally anything about him, I think he'll probably be able to do the same to Connor Matthews, who is on a 2-fight knockout. Like, he got knocked out in his last 2 fights. I have no idea why he's even taking this fight. He just got knocked out 2 months ago. Makes no sense, but I digress. The next fight will be Jared Gordon versus Thiago Moises at lightweight. Jared Gordon is 20-7. What the hell is this right here? Oh, yeah. There was like a no contest against Bobby Green, apparently. He is 2-1 in his last 5, minus 110, near even, 36 years old. 5'9", 68-inch reach. Thiago Moises, 19-8. He is 3-2 in his last 5, minus 110. This is a straight up pick 'em. He is 30 years old, 5'9", 70.5-inch reach. Good old Jared Gordon here. He lost to Nasrat Haqparast 10 months ago, knocked out Mark Madsen. He had that decision loss to Paddy Pimblett. A lot of people think he should have won. Thiago Moises beat Trey Ogden, lost to Ludovic Klein. Mitch Ramirez, he knocked out. Benoit Saint-Denis, he got knocked out by, and then he subbed Ezekiel Costa, who is fighting on this card as well. To me, man, like, people always fade Thiago Moises, and I don't understand why. Thiago Moises, good striker, even better ground game. Jared Gordon he's a decent fighter. Both men are similar size. I think that Thiago Moises always loses to like the really good prospects of the division. He's been on like the cusp of I think he's been ranked top 15 at one point. But the guy's he's a very credible fighter, if you ask me. I'm going Thiago Moises in this one. I will be picking him to get it done by decision. Possible submission, though, honestly, because Thiago Moises has fantastic grappling. So easy pick for me. Thiago Moises gets this one done. Won't be like super easy, though. I think he'll go to decision with Jared Gordon, because Jared Gordon is no slouch himself. The next fight will be Mateus Camillo versus Gabe Green. This is taking place at lightweight as well. Mateus Camillo is 9-2. Undefeated in his last 5, -175 is the favorite. He's 24 years old, 5'9". Trains at Novo União. Gabe Green. God, I haven't seen this guy in a minute. Feels like he is 11-5 plus 145 as the underdog. He is 32 years old, 5'10", and a 73-inch reach. So Gabe Green last got knocked out by Brian Battle almost 2 years ago. Lost the decision to Ian Gary. Beat Johan Lanus and Phil Rowe, and this is quite a while ago now. Lost the decision to D-Rod. Mateus Camillo fighting on the Fury regional scene. Fighting lights out. Let's see, 9-3, 4-0, 6-1, 13-5 on Tough Enough. Those are the records of his last opponents, and then he beat an 8-0 guy on some promotion I am not familiar with. I have no idea who the hell this guy is, but I don't have any faith in Gabe Green. So yeah, I'll be picking Mateus Camillo. Random guy MMA picks. What is up? Good to see you, my friend. I'll have to check out your channel after this. Thanks for stopping by. Let me know your picks in the chat. Again, I have to hop on a plane to DC directly after this, so I'll be kind of rifling through these ones. But yeah, we got lots of content on this channel. We have a Tapology League if you're interested in that. It is in the channel's description, so go ahead and check it out if you get a chance. Good to see you. The next fight is Julian Erosa versus Ezekiel Costa. Julian Erosa, 31-11. He is on a 3-fight winning streak. Plus 180 as the underdog, 35 years old, 6'1", 74.5-inch reach. Ezekiel Costa on a 3-fight win streak himself. He is 23-7 overall, -220 as the favorite. 28 years old, and he's 5'10". So Ezekiel Costa, I remember when he first got in the UFC, I think it was off the Contender Series. Really, he looked pretty damn good. He didn't look like, amazing. But he ran into Steve Garcia, got knocked out. But since then, he's rifled off 3 pretty good wins against Shailen Nurbeke, Andre Fili, and C-Rod. A lot of people thought he would lose to C-Rod, but he was able to handle himself. And before that, he got 2 submission wins over guys that maybe were going to be tougher fights for him. On the other side, he got Juicy J, Julian Erosa, always in a fun fight. He got knocked out by Alex Caceres, knocked out by Fernando Padilla 2 years ago. Since then, he himself rifled off 3 pretty good wins. Ricardo Ramos, he subbed C-Rod, and then he knocked out Darren Elkins, and that was just 4 weeks ago. So very, very quick turnaround for Juicy J, Julian Erosa. Juicy J's only chance to win this fight, in my opinion, is to throw some crazy stuff out there and just get a knockout or just a submission in some crazy scenario. Like I said, he is always in a very fun fight. So I wouldn't rule that out entirely, but in my opinion, Ezekiel Costa wears down Julian Erosa, I'll say by the 2nd round, and he gets a submission win. That's where I'm going to go. Good to see Ivar in the chat. Glad you stuck around. You found us on our last stream, so it is good to see you, my friend. Glad you are here. Next fight is Nursultan Ruzabayev versus Dustin Stoltzfus. Nursultan Ruzabayev, 35-9-2. Don't let that record fool you. He hasn't really fought at a high level for very long, but he's still a damn good fighter. He is 4-1 in his last 5, -285 as the favorite. He is from Uzbekistan, 31 years old, 6'5", and a 76-inch reach. Dustin Stoltzfus, 16-6. He is 3-2 in his last 5, plus 225 as the underdog. He is 33 years old, 6 foot, and a 75-inch reach. So obviously, Nursultan Ruzabayev, guy was looking like he was going to be a big problem, especially with his extensive record. And then he goes in there and knocks out Bruno Ferreira, knocks out Dumas, and then he gets that fight with Buckley, and we're going, oh, shit, this will be a really big test. A big test really quickly in his UFC career. But again, guy has a crazy record. He's like 31 years old. Joaquin Buckley showed that you take this guy down, and he has a problem with that. So he is mostly a striker, a dangerous one at that, but Joaquin Buckley was able to handle him, and then he got a knockout over some man named Eric McConico 2 months ago. Dustin Stoltzfus, on the other hand, been in the UFC quite a while now. He lost to Dwight Grant 2.5 years ago, or he beat Dwight Grant, got knocked out by Abus Magomedov. sub Punahele Soriano, which at the time was, decent win. He lost to Bruno Ferreira, the spinning back elbow, and he was actually able to knock Marc-Andre Barriel out. I think this is a pretty clear W for Nursultan Rozabayev. I'm going to pick him by second round KO just to go safe. Dustin Stoltzfus is another guy that's kind of like get or get got. He'll look really good in some wins, and you'll get a knockout quick. Other times, like you question why he's even in the UFC, right? Fighting at a high level. But I think Nursultan Rozabayev gets this one done fairly easy. But again, Dustin Stoltzfus, not necessarily a pushover. So this is finally like a decent name somewhere between somebody named Eric McConico and Joaquin Buckley. So I think this is a pretty easy W for Nursultan Rozabayev. If it goes into the third round, you might see that gas tank kind of peter off from Nursultan, but I'm still very confident that he will get the win. Ivar says he thinks Dustin can get the win, but he hopes Rozabayev wins. Okay, I think he's got it in the bag, honestly, and 94% of Tapology also thinks the same way. So, next fight is a very interesting one. It is Sodiq Yusuff versus Marion Santos. This is taking place at lightweight. I think Sodiq Yusuff is moving up to lightweight. I think this is his debut at lightweight. I could be wrong. Yes. He's been fighting in featherweight most of his career. But speaking of him, Sodiq Yusuff, he is 13-4. He is 2-3 in his last 5, 31 years old, 5'9", 71-inch reach, training with Team Lloyd Irvin. Marion Santos, 15-1. He is 4-1 in his last 5, minus 140 as the slight favorite, 24 years old, 72-inch reach. So obviously Sodiq Yusuff moving up to lightweight. I'm not sure how I feel about that. I don't know if it's going to benefit him or not. I think when you move up a weight class, it benefits you more like in the lower weights. Down here at like the 135, 145, 155 range, I'm not so sure about it. Sodiq Yusuff was definitely a big-time prospect. Suffered a loss to Arnold Allen, and that kind of 4 years ago, and that kind of catapulted Arnold Allen. Like that was like a crossroads fight for both men. He did beat Alex Caceres and Don Shainis by sub. Another one of those guys like Shannon Ross. I mean, who hasn't submitted Don Shainis, once in their life? But then he lost the decision to older, kind of washed Edson Barboza, and then he got knocked out quick as a mug by Diego Lopez with that sick uppercut. Marion Santos, I think he won the Ultimate Fighter. And then he beat Con Ofley to win the Ultimate Fighter. That was a nasty, nasty knockout. But then he went to split decision with Francis Marshall. So I think that's why the odds are so close in this one. It's a big jump up the rankings pretty quick for Marion Santos. So I think they're really putting Sodiq Yusuff in a spot here. It's kind of, you got the vet and the up-and-coming kid. I just think it's weird that this fight is taking place at lightweight. This is strange to me. I guess Sodiq Yusuff thinks he's going to try his hand at lightweight, see if he has better results. I think that Marion Santos obviously is, since they're both 5'9", I feel like Marion Santos is a little bigger just like frame-wise. I feel like he's a little bit quicker. We just don't know too much about him at the high level. He's also very young. Sodiq Yusuff, 32. Man, I want to pick Sodiq Yusuff. He's fought a lot better competition, but I just don't think I can in this one. I think Sodiq Yusuff survives, so I will pick Marion Santos by decision. But I wouldn't be surprised if Sodiq Yusuff could get the W in this one, because again, we just don't know enough about Marion Santos at this point. Ivar says those odds are crazy. Santos is going to get it easy. Yeah, those odds they're very close, but I think it's because we don't know what Sadiq's going to look up moving up a weight class. And then Marion Santos' last win was by split to Francis Marshall, who people don't really see as very credible. But I think Francis Marshall is a pretty decent fighter. Not the worst fighter I've ever seen in my life, unlike Don Shainis. Good to see Useless. I think this is the first time you've been in my chat on this channel, so good to see you, man. Leaving for DC tonight? Yes, I am. I am leaving for TC tonight. I was reading this comment by Scrimpo. What's your take on Bilal's loss? Is probably the worst. Well, I don't know about the worst thing. That's fucking funny, man. It's maybe in the top 10, but it's definitely not the worst thing. Good to see you, Scrimpo. That's fucking funny. Yes, but yes, Degenerate Dana, I am leaving for DC just here in a few hours, so I'm trying to rifle off these picks really quick. But yeah, thank you all for being here and checking out the show. Next fight is Paul Craig versus Rodolfo Bellato. Paul Craig, oh my goodness, he's 17-9 and 1. He's on a 3-fight losing streak. 1 win in his last 4, plus 340 as the underdog. He's 37 years old, 6'3", 76-inch reach. Rodolfo Bellato, 12-2-1, and that 1 came to Jimmy Crute. It was a majority draw, and that was only 3 months ago. Minus 500 as the favorite. He's 29 years old, 6'3", 77.5-inch reach. So Rodolfo Bellato was doing good work in LFA. Gets on the Contender Series, gets a nice knockout, and then they gave him Ihor Potieria to knock out. And another one of those guys, Don Shane is Shannon Ross, Ihor Potieria, just like the guy is like the sacrificial lamb, you know. Went to a split decision with Jimmy Crute 3 months ago. Not the best look for his career. Paul Craig, man, getting knocked out by everybody. Johnny Walker. He actually was able to knock Andre Muniz out. Got subbed by Brendan Allen, knocked out by Kyle Braulio, and then lost a very, very boring decision to one Mr. Bo Nickel. I think you can safely pick Rodolfo Bellato. I'll probably say he gets it done. Classic combat casual pick, the second round. Yeah, that's me. I'm going to pick Rodolfo Bellato by the second round. If you're going to pick Paul Craig in this one, though, I would pick him by submission, right? It's the only way to go. Good to see B Fatty in the chat. I'm not sure how to respond to that, but thank you, I guess. Next fight is the main event. It's Gilbert Burns versus Michael Morales. This is taking place at welterweight. Gilbert Burns on a 3-fight losing streak, but he is 22-8 in his career, plus 475 as the underdog. God damn. He's 38 years old, 5'10", 71-inch reach. Michael Morales, 17-0, undefeated. Minus 650 as the favorite. He is 25 years old, 6 foot and 79-inch reach. So really the question of this main event is how washed is Gilbert Burns? Is he even washed? His last fight was the Sean Brady where he lost the decision. Before that, he had a really close fight with Jack Della Maddalena, but he got knocked out in the waning seconds of the fight with that big knee. And he lost the decision to Bilal Muhammad. So these are 3 of the top, like these two, Bilal and Jack just fought for the title on Saturday night, right? And then Sean Brady is like, if he's not the next guy up, he's like the next guy up. Before that, he beat Masvidal and Neil Magny, though. So it's kind of it's a weird thing. He's in a weird spot, you know. Like he beat a lot of the guys kind of on their way out. Obviously, George is not with the promotion anymore. And then he's losing to like just the top guys. So Michael Morales just knocked Neil Magny out very quickly. Before they beat Jake Matthews, Max Griffin, Adam Fuga, and Trevin Giles. So Neil Magny was his big step up, and then this is the next one. So is Michael Morales that dude at welterweight? From everything I've seen, I mean, pretty damn much, right? Gilbert Burns still a dog, and obviously he's taken a decent enough layoff, 8 months between the Sean Brady fight and this one. I think this is a better stylistic matchup for Gilbert Burns because he's kind of reached that point in his career where when he gets taken down, he kind of just doesn't do much to get back up. I think this will be somewhat of a striking match. I think Michael Morales, man, it really just depends on how high you rate his win over Neil Magny. I was so impressed because he knocked Neil Magny out so fast. I think that he will be able to get the TKO win over Gilbert Burns. I'm going the second round for Michael Morales to get it done over Gilbert Burns. But I would love to see Gilbert Burns pull this one out. I think it is possible because he didn't look like terrible in those fights with Bilal, JDM, and Sean Brady, but he has a deficiency in the grappling, if you ask me. So yeah, man, those are my picks. Thank you everyone for joining. Yeah, I had to do a quick one today because, as I said, hopping on a plane soon. So I'm out. Take it easy, everyone. Have a good rest of your day.